Ambassador Thekvas had called the emergency session of the Galactic Council with the utmost confidence. The Zephyrian Empire, along with their allies, had spent months crafting what they believed was the perfect ultimatum. Humanity had been expanding too rapidly, claiming too many systems, growing too bold in their diplomatic demands. It was time to put these upstart Deathworlders in their place. The question before this council is simple. Thekvas announced to the assembled representatives of 47 species. Will humanity submit to territorial restrictions and cease their aggressive expansion, or will they face the consequences of defying the established galactic order? The human delegation consisted of 3 individuals: Ambassador Elena Martinez, Admiral Jackson Wright, and a quiet woman introduced only as Professor Catherine Phillips from Earth Strategic Studies Institute. They sat calmly as Thekvas outlined the ultimatum. You have claimed 17 systems in the past solar cycle, the Zephyrian continued. Systems that rightfully should be administered by more experienced civilizations. We demand immediate withdrawal from 12 of these territories and acceptance of a colonial oversight committee. The chamber fell silent as Ambassador Martinez stood. She was smaller than most beings present, but something in her posture made several species unconsciously shift backward. Ambassador Thekvas, she said quietly, I believe you've asked the wrong question. Confusion rippled through the assembly. The Altarian representative's translator struggled with an apparent idiom. The wrong question? Thekvas sputtered. We have presented you with a clear choice. Submit or face. You asked whether we would submit to restrictions, Martinez interrupted. But the question you should have asked is, what happens when you try to enforce them? Admiral Wright smiled, an expression that somehow made the chamber's temperature seem to drop several degrees. That's a much more interesting question. Professor Phillips finally spoke, her voice carrying the calm authority of someone discussing weather patterns. Humanity has a saying, there are known knowns, known unknowns, and unknown unknowns. You gentlemen seem to be operating entirely in the third category. She activated a holographic display that filled the chamber's center. You know we come from a Class 12 death world. You know we've colonized 17 systems in record time. But did you know why we expanded so quickly? The display showed star charts with disturbing annotations. Each human colony was positioned at choke points, resource nexuses, or strategic locations that could control entire sectors. We weren't expanding for territory, Professor Phillips continued conversationally. We were preparing defensive, Thekvas managed. Against what? Admiral Wright's smile grew wider. Against exactly this scenario. Did you really think a species that evolved on a world where everything tries to kill them wouldn't plan for aggressive neighbors? The holographic display shifted, revealing Earth's military infrastructure. The numbers made several delegates check their translators for errors. 2,000 orbital defense platforms, Wright listed casually. 50,000 automated mining ships that can be converted to kinetic bombardment vessels in 6 hours. A civilian population where every adult has mandatory military service. Oh, and our exploration fleets. The display zoomed in on what the Council had assumed were peaceful survey vessels. Each one carries enough firepower to glass a planet. Because when you come from a death world, you never go anywhere unprepared for trouble. Professor Phillips pulled up another display showing economic data. We also control the supply chains for 47 critical resources, the shipping lanes for 6 major trade routes, and the manufacturing centers for most of your advanced technology. Curious how that happened, isn't it? The chamber erupted in panic chatter as representatives realized the scope of humanity's quiet preparation. Ambassador Martinez waited for silence before delivering the final blow. So let me ask you the right question, Ambassador Thekvas. Are you absolutely certain you want to find out what happens when you threaten a species that spent its entire evolutionary history expecting everything to try to kill them? The vote to rescind the ultimatum was unanimous.